presentation. I want to go far beyond food security challenges. Food security, to me, has a connotation with keeping people alive under difficult circumstances, in difficult conditions. I want to present a future for the Ngorongoro district which goes far beyond. The Ngorongoro Conservation Area of over 8,000 square kilometers, 59% of the territory, and the 1,500 square kilometer buffer zone near the Serengeti, which is another 11%, altogether 70% of the area, is basically reserved for pastoralism as a way of, let's say, combining wildlife with a traditional pastoralist way of life. But keeping the carrying capacity for that area at around 150,000, maybe 160,000 livestock units, because you remember it needs to be combined with wildlife. And when we keep 4 livestock units as the minimum per person, or 20 per household, which is around 12 cattle and 56 sheep and goats, which is the minimum condition to survive, it means that where today live 130,000 people in this 70% of the district, you can in fact have no more than 38,000 people that could live from traditional pastoralism. And in the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, agriculture is 100% forbidden. And the discussion at this moment about the 1,500 square kilometer that I was talking about is, should we kick out all people? Or should we keep it as a village-controlled land with only pastoralism, which is combined with wildlife protection, which is a hard discussion at the moment. But looking at these figures, the number of the population has to go down in order to preserve the traditional coexistence of wildlife and pastoralist way of life. What does it mean? We have here the map of the Ngorongoro district. This part is the Ngorongoro Conservation Area. This part is the buffer zone with the Serengeti National Park. So in fact we have this area bordering Kenya, bordering Lake Natron, that should house the rest of the population, which is roughly calculated something like 160,000 people at this moment. We don't want to continue in poverty. At this moment, the government, the World Bank, has calculated that in Tanzania we have an average gross national income of $900 per person, which is below, which is a poor status. And the government has said in 25 we want to achieve middle income status. What is middle income status? It would mean that we would go in Tanzania from an average of 900 to 1,000. 1,000 is the lowest middle income status that you can have. Let's assume that in the Ngorongoro district this national average is also true. That means that in 10 years' time, a bit less now, we have to go from 900 to 1,000. If we pave a path to high income at the end of the century, which is, of course, I would say, a normal ambition for any country, any population, at the end of the century we want to be in Tanzania also high income country. What does it mean? That we need to grow in the next 20 years to $1,900 per person, which is still lower middle income status. It is near higher middle income status. 20 years further on, we would then be at $3,600 per person, 40 years ahead. 40 years ahead. And then we were just getting to higher income. At the end of the century, according to this calculation, according to the growth rates that I will project a bit later, we would achieve $16,000 per person, which is getting into higher income status, lower higher income status. I mean, the Netherlands has 40,000. United States, I don't know, how much are you?
UK, I'm not sure.
The UK? Well, I'm sure it's lower than the Netherlands.
It will be with
The vision for this country is we don't want to stay poor, we don't want to recover a little bit, we want to become high income country. Normal. How to do that? We have 30% of the district service. We need to provide work and income of an average $900 per inhabitant for 157,700 people in this year or last year, which would mean a gross district income of 142 million, which should grow in the 36 to 600 million, and at the end of the century we need to have, how do you pronounce it, 22? Is it trillion, billion? I don't know, a big figure. Is this possible? And how to do that? That is the question. We only need growth rates of 7% at the beginning and later slackening down to 5% consistently for 85 years. Is that possible? It will be difficult, but everything is possible, I think, and this is not beyond the unreasonable. For that we need assets, we need, what do we have in the district to get there? We have this 4,000 square kilometer, which is currently thinly populated. If we have all these people, these 150,000, in that 4,000 square kilometer, we come to 36 people per square kilometer. And they are waiting for economic development. We have nature, we have wildlife, we have a very richness in traditions and culture. We have a very big, young and energetic population. We have a long tradition in livestock keeping. We know about agriculture and horticulture, although not that much. We have forests, undiscovered minerals. We have strong investors in the tourism industry who feel responsibility for communities. We have NGOs, we have charities who want to help the community-based organizations, and we have vast reserves in natural energy. Okay, that is the assets that we have, but the district has a lot of weaknesses. At the moment, wildlife and tourist revenues escape the district. My predecessor, he painted this picture that tourism is a blessing for people. I would say this is a blessing for a very limited number of people. If I tell you that every tourist entering the Ngorongoro Conservation Area has to pay $70. $70. We have 1 million visitors in the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, which would bring $70 million just from entry fees. What is the district getting every year? Freddy, tell me. Yes. 175 million, how many dollars? Well, divided by 2,000. Nothing. Nothing. So don't tell me that there is revenue sharing. There is no revenue sharing. It goes to the national government who does with that what it wants. And the priority is not investing in Ngorongoro district. The kind of tourism that we have is a monoculture tourism, game-related, short stay for the very rich, which means people fly in, maybe they stay in Arusha, maybe they stay in Karatu, which is not Ngorongoro district. They go into the NCA for one night, or maybe 2 nights at the maximum, then they go to Serengeti, then they go to Tarangire, then they go to wherever, and then they stay for a week in Zanzibar. Not in Ngorongoro. Okay, most of us know about pastoralism. It can go through thousands of kilometers, but when we talk about the Serengeti and the Ngorongoro district people, they go around in the whole district, although they have their bomas and their villages, which is more and more settled. There is very limited agriculture and horticulture. We talk about maize and we talk about beans, and that's about it. There is no food chain into the tourist sector, which means that the meat that is produced in the area, it is transported to Kenya. In Kenya, it is sold and processed, and then it is bought by the lodges to be used in the Serengeti and in the NCA. Of course, there are more weaknesses. The water management is a problem and getting more and more of a problem. The forest management is a problem, heavy deforestation. The mineral resources, which are growing, the same as with the tourist industry, is not remaining invested or whatsoever in the district. It is escaping as soon as it leaves the ground. Sustainable energy, except for some solar energy, it's not used at all, although there is a massive potential for it. Most of all, there are no roads. There is no road of any name that connects the different places in Ngorongoro district with, for instance, Arusha. It takes 6-7 hours on very bad road to arrive, and if it is really a rainy season, this year we haven't seen any rain at all, but when it comes to it, you cannot pass the rivers if they are flooded. To highlight some of the things, here we have the slash and burn, which leads to deforestation, which is very extensive. And here you see some mining, which is done also in a very unplanned and not very well organized way, which is at the long run a big danger for the beauty of the area, of course. Now I want to talk about opportunities. The tourism industry, which is now monoculture, high-end, short stay, should grow. Livestock processing, the meat processing industry should develop. Food processing can be achieved. Reforestation, eco-friendly mining, sustainable natural energy, it is all within reach. Ngorongoro district, 1/3 of the Netherlands, 2/3 of Togo, half of Rwanda. I think it's a little bit smaller than Switzerland. It can become a Switzerland. We want to believe one thing. Ngorongoro district people can become rich at the end of the century. But it's not enough to go and pray for it. If that would help, we would be very rich already. It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of energy. Of course, when we talk about, I take 2 examples on livestock and on tourism. We want to go, at the moment, 32 livestock units per square kilometer. But why not 200? 200. It is impossible. We have already too much. Change the way you keep your livestock. And then, at first it is less is more. At the end it is more is better. Netherlands has 245 livestock units per square kilometer. Of course, Ngorongoro is a semi-arid area. It's not the same as the very rainy Netherlands, but still. Why not producing quality meat instead of banking cattle? I don't know if everybody knows, but Maasai, in their culture, in their history, in their tradition, cattle is more important than their wife. It is the same as in Rwanda. But they see cattle not as meat producing. They are not producing for a market. They are producing to have a reserve, to be sure for the future. To have a big cattle is also providing status. So we need a kind of mentality change with especially the rich cattle owners, that they convert into meat production, quality meat production. Which means that you don't wait until your cattle is starving to sell, but you sell when it is fat and grow and big. And why not processing the meat in the Ngorongoro district instead of bringing it out and selling it in Kenya, in Arusha, or wherever? There is also the question of producing more milk. Well, milk producing is a specialty which needs a lot more than just milking more of your cows. You need a complete other breed, and you need another complete other way of keeping your cows. In the long run, this is possible, I think. If you're proud of being a livestock keeper, then you can also convert into that. A second example is the tourism. At the moment, we have 1 million visitors of the Ngorongoro crater every year. The vast majority of them does not even stay one night in the area. Which means, as I said earlier, all the revenues for having these tourists escape the district. So we should change into a tourism where people are ready to stay 5-7 nights. And how much dollars are these visitors leaving in the district? Why not 80 million? 80% of the revenues can stay in the district. So you need to change your tourism, and you need to change the revenue sharing as it is organized now. And why not 2, 4, 6, 10 million visitors a year? In the Netherlands, again, I give it as an example, has 50 million visitors a year. Diversification. Don't be afraid of changing the way that you see tourists. Tourists at this moment in this country is seen as rich Americans, rich Europeans that fly in, spend $1,000 a day, and then leave again. And most of the money goes to international companies that are running these as tour operators, or as air companies, or as lodge owners. Diversification. I will come back to that later. Other sectors, what are the challenges there? Agriculture and horticulture. It's possible. Forestry. Today, you can grow trees on desert land, on semi-arid land. It is possible. The Sinai, Israel is proving it every day. Why not? Can we? Mining, environmental friendly mining. We don't need to follow South Africa. Sustainable energy. We have solar, we have wind, we have water. biogas, geo-earth. Nothing is used at the moment. Then, of course, the transport sector, we need at least one tarmac road that is crossing the district. So, I want to come to a conclusion. I want to present you one picture, and I'm asking you, what is this? Who can give me a hint, a clue? What is this? I don't want an answer from people from Gorgora District Authority, because they know. Yes, please.
Is it a shrine?
Yes? It's a shrine, what?
Is that Catholic?
Which one?
A Catholic.
Huh?
Catholic.
Catholic.
Yes, it's Catholic, because we see, who do we see here? This is Mary. But where is it? Any Catholics here? I'm sorry we don't have our sister
In Italy.
from the Congo. She would have known. This is Lourdes in France. Lourdes in France in 1850 was a very tiny little village. There were only a few shepherds there, and with their cattle, they're living in the mountains. And there was this little girl that, with the cattle, went into the mountains and had seen a vision of Holy Mary. And it was believed that she had this interchange, this exchange, these dreams, where Mary was telling her things, and one of the things was that the water from the spring in that mountain there was holy, healing water. Today, Lourdes has 50,000 citizens, which is not very impressive, but it has 6 million visitors each year. 6 million visitors. It has 270 hotels. The second greatest number of hotels per square kilometers of the whole of France. And why? But I am awaiting for the second miracle to come. But I pray for the authorities, help us to construct better infrastructure so that we can channel these people, that we can accommodate. I want to thank you. Here is the proof that I was there in front of the magic tree that is providing this potion that can possibly cure you. The lesson here is one. You need belief to make things change. Second thing is, you have to learn from history. Don't put things down. Look at it in an economic way. These Catholic priests at the time, they were divided. In Lourdes, a part was saying, these are again someone who's seen Maria, what do we want then? And another part said, no, this is good. It is good for the faith. It is good for the status of the religion. If we can find 1 or 2 or maybe 3 people that have really benefited from this miracle, we can build it in something big. And they built something big. They built railway stations. They built railway trains. They built churches that are incredible, shrines, etc. This is possible here too. What is the first tourism industry that has been developed over the centuries in Europe? Religious tourism. Second, healing tourism. You have to believe in the healing power of the salty water of Lake Natron, and you can exploit it like they do in Hungary, like they do in Germany, like they do in the Balkans. You have to see the opportunities and you have to develop them, and you build a myth around it. And what is better than a real myth of Babu Alariondo? Read his book. I have it, you can find it on the internet. It is really a moving story. You have to believe in things to make things change. And that is where I want to end. Thank you very much.